Cimmerian's Journal. 5 days in Hag's End. Though a graveyard for those who used to dwell here, it has been like a womb for me. I've rested, prayed to Siddis for the wisdom I shall require in the coming days, and toiled over my equipment. Though it was covered with the dust of ages when I found it, this armor is exquisite. I'm no novice to the smithing craft, but it is difficult for me to understand how it was created or even what it's made from. Who left this here and why? The dead brother was not wearing it, but rather seemed to have been buried with it. Was he protecting it? Could this have been some sort of ritual burial? I've heard stories that the Draugr were once great warriors who were buried with their masters to protect them in the afterlife. Could this have been something similar? It is clear that I will need to learn more to understand what I'm dealing with. The days of reflection have led me to the conclusion that it is time for me to take the fight to the Thalmor. I must stop running. They must learn that to pursue me will cause them so much pain that it'd be better to give up the chase than risk more disaster. Theirs will be a painful lesson. Each of my disciples will have a task to perform. The Thalmor are to become Valfar's project, and one I am sure he will relish.
Welcome, dear viewers, to CouchWarrior TV on YouTube. I am the CouchWarrior, and you are watching Aranis Arcana, a Skyrim Let's Live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first official episode of Act 3, Heart of Smoke. This, of course, is Chapter 11, Part 1. First of all, I would like to thank you all very much for sticking it out with me this far. We have come a long way, 81 episodes in a story that, compared to most Let's Plays out on YouTube, it moves at a slow, sort of meandering pace. I take my time, I do what the story requires of me, and I do some extra stuff every once in a while that slows the story down, but I hope enhances the story in ways that we couldn't do otherwise. So, I want to thank you all for coming back, and for those of you who are new to the Aranis Arcana story series, I welcome you, we all welcome you, and I invite you, when you have an opportunity, to go back, start with a prologue, work your way through. Treat it like an audiobook, take it a chapter at a time, small bites, do what you can, but trust me, it's worth it. I think together we've come a long way, and I think we've created an interesting character in a rich story, and there is still much, much, much more story to tell. Now, of course, none of this storytelling could be possible without you, the dear viewers, and also without this lovely game, Skyrim, on the PC, all the mods that come with it, and a plethora of excellent console commands that allow me to create the cinematics that I create, allow me to tell the story I wish to tell it. So, thank you, Bethesda. So, here we are. We have just left Hag's End. We spent quite a bit of time there in the last episode, kind of clearing the place out and reclaiming the armor from the ancient Dark Brotherhood assassin, as was foretold to us by Olava the Feeble. We found the armor, and we have seen what I would consider to be a complete transformation of the character into this persona that we've been toying with all through Act 2, called Cimmerian. And Cimmerian is just as much a title as it is a name. Fleet is kind of building a legend or building a mystery around himself, trying to craft what he believes is an image and a persona that, I don't know, provides the maximum amount of reverence to his god Sithis, and puts him in the right frame of mind, really, to do the bidding of Sithis, or what he believes to be the bidding. The interesting thing about Sithis, however, is that he is not the sort of actor who acts with any sort of definite purpose, which means that Fleet must sort of become the personification of chaos in order to emulate that. We got some stragglers here. One with a bow. Let's switch it up to the dagger. And we got our trusty bend to the shadows. This gives us the advantage in up-close combat. Come on. So let's talk a little bit about what has happened over the last 5 days. If you remember, at the end of the last episode, I did a little bit of an Act 2 after show kind of thing where we kind of went over some of the details around Fleet 4.0, basically the armor pieces and the loadout. What I did not talk about is some of the other details that go along with this. So over the last few days, I have spent some time crafting. I have been able to acquire a level through crafting. I had tons and tons of hides, which I converted into leather, and I made bunches of bracers just to work on those smithing levels. I also acquired some enchanting levels. I burned through just about every soul gem that I had. I had a couple of soul gems worth using for actual, real enchanting, and I actually placed an enchant on our new Tonto dagger. Now, what I did is an absorb health enchant. What that essentially is going to do is take away 15 points of health from anyone that I hit with it and allow me to acquire those health points should I need them. The main reason I did that is that the Tonto daggers in this set, in the Sorrow set, do less damage than the Tonto dagger that we've been using up to this point from the Black Sacrament package. That particular mod, the weapons in there have been goosed a little bit so that they're a bit more powerful. They deal a bit more damage. So, in order to kind of... Ooh, look what we got here. This is trouble. We're going to retreat. I can't take on 3 mages at once, so we are going to go for the higher ground, which we are apt to do in situations where we are outnumbered. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. This is a temporary reprieve here. They're going to try to flank me. Let's see where they're going. Yeah, look at that. 2 of them are going to try to flank me, and 1 is holding this position. That's actually very smart for the AI. Let's see if we can take this guy out. We need to open a back door, so if we have to escape this way, we can do it. Let's see if we can take this guy out. Hey.
Now you're mine.
Oh, there's the flanking. Let's run. Let's run again. That's 2 hits. I can't take too many more of those. Okay, we're going to run back to this pass where the bear traps were. I'm going to run straight through there, and we're going to take a little break behind our bear traps. This is a nice choke point. If they follow me through here, they're going to hit traps, and they're going to hit a lot of arrows. So let's set this one again. I don't know if they'll follow me, but if they do, we're going to have some advantage here. This will give me a chance to heal up and get back in the fight. What I was mentioning before is that I placed the enchant on this dagger, the Absorb Health enchant, because it allows me to get back up to within a couple of points of damage of where we were with the Black Sacrament dagger. So with this new dagger, we are doing equivalent damage to what we were doing with the old one when we combine the damage with the health damage done by the enchant. So all told, we are no worse off than we were before, and we have a very, very sexy looking dagger that kind of matches our armor set, which is sort of what I was after. What, is that a horse? Yeah, that's a horse. I'm shooting at a horse. Good God. I don't want to shoot a horse. Now this guy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit him. We'll take a pot shot at him. No. Wasn't really in a good position there. I was going to have to shoot up and over the tree, which I don't think would have been possible. So that's the story on the dagger. Some other things I enchanted, of course. This is brand new armor, so I enchanted the gloves with Sabotage, which is a big favorite of the CouchWarrior, along with Muffle on the boots. That puts us right to where we were before. The other thing I did is I had a Grand Soul Gem, and I burned it, giving myself a better Magicka regen rate. I put the Magicka regen on the hood with a mask. I figured that might help me out a little bit. I seem to be using spells a lot more, and goosing the Magicka regen certainly can't hurt. I don't know at this point how many more points I'm actually going to invest in bumping up my base Magicka. So having that regen I think will just be nice. That sort of frees me up to spend future level points on either getting the stamina up there even higher or increasing the health, which is probably the more urgent matter at this point. Until we get to a point where we are high enough level in smithing that we can improve this armor significantly, we're going to have to do that. Interesting point about the armor, as I mentioned in the last episode, it does benefit from the glass smithing perk. However, the interesting point about it is the ingredient required to improve the armor is a Daedra heart. So in order to improve the entire set of armor, I would need at least 4, maybe 5 Daedra hearts if I wanted to improve both hoods. And Daedra hearts are not always easy to come by. We are rapidly approaching level 40, but it's not like the stuff's growing on trees, so just something to consider for the future. Alright, those guys are in between us and where we need to get to, which is our horse. So we left our horse down here by Dragon Bridge. They appear to be walking the same path we are. But this horse gives us some options. I could just blast right past him on this horse. But I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm feeling like I want to kill him. They are, after all, representatives of Mirak, who has attacked us once before. Now we're starting to see a pattern. They're clearly still hunting us, so... I think we are going to keep this horse. We'll ride up here as far as we dare to, and then I'll dismount and see if I can take him by surprise. Interesting point. If you remember, we do have in play the Convenient Horses herding modification. So the very act of getting on that horse, since it was unclaimed and I wasn't stealing it, that is going to automatically add that horse to my herd. So at this point, when I leave the horse, it should go back to that flag that we planted near Whiterun and eventually end up there, which will be kind of interesting. So, including Shadowmere, that would give us 3 horses in our herd to this point, which is pretty cool. Here they are. Alright, let's check it out. There's 3 of them. Oh, they're coming back this way. We want them looking the other way, so we're going to put one down range and turn them around. Turn around. There they go. Let's pick one off. There's one. Be another one. There's 2. 3. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Oh, missed him. Yeah, he's on to us, so I'm not doing as much damage. Oh, great. Okay, I'm going to back off. He's going to go to the fireball here, which is not good news for us. No. Okay, we're going to have to play chicken with him a little bit. Our weapon is faster than his, so we're going to play chicken. Ooh, I can't take too many of those. Come on. I'm not particularly great at strafing shots. If you want to see great strafing shots with a bow, you need to go out and check out Seth's videos. Seth has some great assassin videos out there. One in particular where he's kind of doing some demos of practicing strafing shots. I suck at strafing shots. So I'm usually going to pause and wait for that pause. There we go. I think if I was a little bit better at my strafing technique, I probably could have ended that fight a little sooner. A little bit less risk. But we got him. That's what counts in the end. Cultists' orders. Wait a second. Oh, sure. Okay, so I had forgotten here. This is an interesting point I should mention to you. After Act 2, I took it upon myself to do some house cleaning, and by that I mean basically going through the mods, going through my system, going through my install of Skyrim, and just making sure that everything was primed and ready to go for Act 3. I didn't want a lot of problems. We are using a lot of mods here, so I had to go through and I eliminated some that we hadn't been using, just uninstalled them completely. I disabled some others that I thought would just be okay for us to bring back when we needed them for story purposes, and kind of slimmed things down quite a bit. In the process, however, what I also did was at one point I basically disabled everything and I reinstalled the entire game and all the DLC. So we are going to go through a period here where we're probably going to get hit with a number of quests just kind of opening up that have been open previously, just because it's a new install. And that's really some of these quests just being added to our quest journal. I don't have a problem with that. It really only seems to affect quests where there's, I don't know, so far what I've noticed is maybe like delivery of a letter or, something like that. So I think we're going to see some of that going forward. But I think that's okay. I think it was the prudent thing to do a nice clean install and just sort of start Act 3 fresh. The other thing I had to do is pay very close attention to our load order. When you're running a bunch of mods, you never know when you're going to get conflicts. The load order can be extremely important, but there are no really good guides that I've seen on load order. There are some utilities out there that help with load order, and they can help you recognize problems before they become problems. But a lot of times the load order tools only work the best when a particular mod has been registered with that tool. In other words, the tool is aware of the mod, knows about it, and knows where it should be in the load order. If a mod hasn't been registered with the tool, it's just kind of, the tool is blind to whatever that mod is and just is going to assume it's okay, or it'll look at it and flag something, like if there's something funky about the code, it'll let you know what that is, but it doesn't necessarily help you do anything. So I've used what tools I can, and I've put the load order in what I think will make the most sense for us going forward.
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only.
Yeah, here we go. This is probably going to be a bunch of quest stuff.
Letter. Not sure who from. He wouldn't say, just that he was a friend of yours.
Here's a letter from the Jarl's steward. Looks like official business. There's a new lady in charge of the orphanage in Riften. She asked me to hand out these notices to everyone I met.
Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Alright, stocked up on a bunch of messages. I'm going to have to go through these at some point and just make sure I open all the right ones. Here we go. Here's the adoption one. We've been through that one before, so you'll just have to bear with me, folks. I think it's worth the extra time, only because, I didn't want to complicate things. I didn't want to have a bunch of problems in the middle of Act 3. We've got big plans for the story coming up in Act 3, so Wanted to make things nice and smooth. So that is also the reason why it has taken me a little bit longer than normal to get Chapter 11, Part 1 out. There are a number of things that I had to do to prepare for Act 3. All right. You know what? I'm going to do this later. For now, we have places to go, people to see, things to do, and we are on our way back to the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. Dearest Karliah, after much thoughtful consideration, I have come to see the wisdom in the course you are plotting. Mercer must answer for his crimes. I apologize for leaving you in this lurch, but you must accept that I had misgivings about your methods. I know that you and I do not know each other very well, so I would not expect you to understand my aversion to killing, even if it is justified. I understand that I, more than anyone, should have a desire to see the man dead, but at heart, I'm a forgiving person. However, in the fullness of time, I've come to realize the wisdom of your plan. If you still require my assistance, you will find me at Nightingale Hall in 3 days' time. I will camp there for 1 full day. If you do not present yourself to me at that time, I shall assume that you have moved on with your plan and do not require my assistance. Yours in friendship, Cimmerian. Welcome back, dear viewers. I just graced you with a letter to Karliah. Direct, if not smarmy. As you can probably tell, Fleet is planning to go back and readdress the issue of Mercer Frey. That will be his first official act after having had his encounter with Sithis and having been told that his soul is untouchable. So, we'll see how that turns out. First, we got a couple the inventory items here, quick. Take an arrow back, get some lockpicks, some thieves to deal with here. Bandits, you're next. What's he got? Ugh, I love mounted looting. What a great invention. Thank you, convenient horses. Alright, so the plan is we need to get back to the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary as quickly as possible. This rain, however, is a problem, even with our fantastic cloak on. Look out!
What do you think you're doing?
Oh, shoot. Oh, I got a bounty. Oh, man. Oh, we ran that guy down. That was not intended, but that is going to add an interesting wrinkle in the storyline. These guys are out on the great plains of central Skyrim, which means their seat of government is going to be Whiterun, and we are going to need to go to Whiterun very soon. That's going to present a problem. But a 40 septim bounty, that's not too bad. Look at this guy, hates us too. Okay, well, everybody hates us. And we are on our way in the rain to the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. As I was saying before, we aren't going to be able to stand this rain much longer. So, I am going to stop off in Broken Fang, get a little rest. Okay, we got a wolf here. I'm gonna deal with him. This will get us out of the rain, buy us a little time. Here we go. Get a little rest. And then we'll arrive at the sanctuary fresh and hopefully not too soggy. Here we go. This is Broken Fang here. If you remember, Broken Fang is one of my favorite stopping off points. It is particularly useful on the Dark Brotherhood quest line because we spend so much time traveling back and forth between Falkreath and Solitude. This is a great stopping off point. Now, we haven't been here in a while, so I'm going to go in fully prepared to fight vampires. But if you remember, we get a little damage bonus using the silver bow on undead, so that was a timely acquisition. Oh yeah, they're back. So we got a skeleton over there. We'll take the vampire first. She's the biggest threat. Alright, here come the skeletons. Well, let's back it up. Gonna let them ascend the stairs. Come on up here, fellas. This one. Take him. There should be 3. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. All right. Nothing too exciting there. Yeah, where'd that vampire go? She flew way over here somewhere. I'm not sure where she ended up.
Lost!
Okay, there's one heat signature. Or one aura, so to speak. I've cleared this out many, many times, and usually there is a master vampire down in the main chamber. I'm guessing that's who we're seeing there. So we have him to deal with yet. But once he is dealt with, we will have the place to ourselves. Now, the bad news about the vampires coming back is that we got to fight them. The good news is that all the loot has respawned as well, so we'll be able to gain some things here. Got a soul gem. Ooh, some armor. I'm leaving that behind, though. Too heavy. One of the things that we do need to do, and why I mentioned going to Whiterun, is that we need to get rid of stuff. We have so much stuff in our inventory right now that encumbrance is becoming a problem. All right. This looks like a job for Ghost Walk. Pulling out our newest toy, the Tanto Dagger. We've got Ghost Walk working here. Let's get our 10 seconds of invisibility. There he is, right there. He is dead, and we are teleported. All right. Mission accomplished. Take that vampire dust for sure. All right, let's loot this place and then get some sleep. Yeah, look at that. We've got all kinds of great stuff. A black soul gem. This is good. I love this spot. It's comfortable. It's cozy. It has all the amenities that you'd need on the trail. I mean, literally, I think the only thing that's missing here is maybe some smithing stuff. But other than that, being able to come in here and make potions and do enchanting and all that stuff, it's particularly useful when you're playing the vanilla game. So for those of you who are playing the vanilla game, in other words, an unmodded Skyrim, and you can't carry with you the supplies you need to do smithing enchanting and alchemy and all that stuff, this is a terrific stopping off point. And what I would recommend is anytime you pass the place, oh, look at that, human heart, we're taking that. We can, that's actually an ingredient for making some of the things that we use from time to time from the Black Sacrament mod. But if you're stopping by, even if you don't need to stop in and just walk in. That'll make the enemies respawn, kind of reset, right? So you're not having to fight them every time you come back. What I have found is that you actually have a nice long period of time before they respawn, so you can come back here and stay several times before you end up in that position I was in of having to root them out again. So nice spot. One of my favorites. All right, let's create some stuff. We got this vampire dust. Doesn't hurt to have another invisibility potion. See what else we can do. Not a whole lot. I really don't want to make the enchanting potions. I want to do that till I'm a little bit higher level. Right now I can still find potions in the shops that are probably more powerful when it comes to enchanting than what I can create myself. So, all right, we are going to catch some sleep. I'm going to do it in full gear, however, just in case we get ambushed. Better to be ready. Plus, we are technically on the trail and traveling light, traveling fast. So the second we get up, we're going to want to hit the road again. So, let's see. I want the rain to subside and I want to travel in the light. So we're going to leave early in the morning. 5-ish, 5:30-ish. That ought to give us daylight and hopefully no rain. Some much needed rest. An apple, some wine, and a venison chop. We're good to go. It's interesting not wearing the eye patch so often anymore. We can get a good look at that messed up eye and the scar that adorns it. That, of course, was the memento left for us by Mercer Frey in Act 2, and a significant turning point for our protagonist, Fleet. All right, now we continue our journey. What we really need to do is get back to the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary and advance that storyline, that quest chain. We are at that stage now where we are ready to move on to tracking down the gourmet. For those of you who are not familiar with the Dark Brotherhood questline, I will not give it away any further. Those of you who are familiar, as many of you are, understand exactly what I'm talking about, and I've always found this to be a particularly fun and interesting part of the quest line. Alright, this weather sucks. Probably be advisable to put the cloak back on. So I was mentioning earlier in this episode some of the preparations that I was making for Act 3. One of those things, of course, that I mentioned was kind of rebuilding my install of Skyrim in the DLCs, cleaning up the mods, doing some testing. Essentially what that amounted to was basically disabling all of my mods and reintroducing them one at a time, adjusting load order in between each install, and then actually going in-game and looking for any issues. So a lot of time was spent kind of messing around with that stuff to ensure that we had the smoothest game footage possible. But in addition to that, I've done a number of different things. One of the things is something you saw in the intro, creating custom overlays. I do a lot of Photoshop work as part of this. And I was interested in creating some overlays so that I could kind of advance the sophistication of my intros and titles a bit, which I have done. That was a lot of work, but it was a great learning experience, and I have another tool in my toolbox that I can use for production of these videos going forward, which is terrific. I also created a new outro, which you'll see at the end of this, and I have gotten serious about providing you folks with some links to the other resources that I offer regarding the story. I've been kind of lazy about annotating my videos. I used to annotate them religiously when I first started uploading, but I kind of got to a point where it was one more step in the production process and the upload process, and I got a little bit lazy. I'm going to try to do that again, just creating links off to Facebook and Google Plus and Tumblr and Twitter and all those other resources that are out there, so that if you want to get updates on Fleet or you want to see images from the trail or any of that stuff, it's all out there. That'll be in the outro now, and I'm going to try to do that more consistently. I also retooled all the banners, not the banners, but the thumbnails for these videos. I've gone to a different format. That is something I'm apt to do at the beginning of each act. These thumbnails are quite a bit different than the ones I've done in the past. They will be changing by chapter, but they will not be color-coded. They will be coded by imagery. So I think that'll make more sense. I actually had someone who was colorblind tell me that didn't help them at all, and I sort of felt bad about that. So I thought of a better way to do it. So I'll be implementing that here in Act 3 as well. Okay, we made it. Let's turn in this quest and see what's coming next. All right, there's Astrid. I'm assuming that we're going to have to talk to her.
Arnbjorn is safe, and for that you have my thanks. But excellent.
Yes, Cicero
Once
is
again,
dead.
You've proven yourself a born assassin. Tell you what, why don't you hold on to Shadowmere a while longer? He's a fine steed, and hasn't been ridden nearly as much as he should lately. And now that this Cicero mess has been mopped up, we can get back to the matter at hand,
Right. So what's my next task?
There's just one more target before we strike out at the Emperor. Have you by chance heard of the Gourmet? Read his cookbook? It's become quite a phenomenon. The Gourmet is scheduled to cook for the Emperor at a special dinner. You'll kill him, steal his writ of passage, and assume the role of Master Chef. Festus has been spearheading this part of the assassination plan. He's close to uncovering the identity of the Gourmet. You should report to him. Remember,
I don't want to
when
know
you
about
kill,
Astrid.
we all wield the blade.
That's not what it feels like to us, dear viewers. It feels like Fleet wielding the blade only. Okay, so it's clear we need to go talk to Festus. So we're going to go do that now. We'll see what the next step in our quest is here.
Brother?
And then we shall go pay our respects to the Night Mother and Sithis before we leave the sanctuary, as is our ritual of the devout. It's times like this, too, that I notice the value of the eye HUD. Thank you very much, dear viewers, for suggesting it. That's how we're getting this big, beautiful, clean picture with no crosshairs, no compass, no nothing. It's just beautiful picture. So I appreciate that suggestion very much. I have also not introduced subtitles, because I didn't see a point in taking out the HUD only to introduce subtitles. It just seems to ruin immersion, so I will officially not be doing subtitles. I apologize to those of you who wanted that feature.
Sweet time dealing with Cicero, eh? Now let's get down to business. Astrid told you about the gourmet, I hope.
That I need to kill him and take on his identity.
Quite so. But first, you'll need to learn who he is. Assuming, of course, that the gourmet actually is a he. Could be a woman, for all we know.
You have any idea how I might find out?
Indeed I do, indeed I do.
Of course you do.
In my, investigations, I came upon this. It's a copy of the gourmet's cookbook. Oh, but not just any copy. It's signed, you see. Seems to be a message from the gourmet to one Anton Varan. I've tracked Varan to the keep in Markarth. It would seem he's the cook.
And this Anton Varan knows the gourmet's true identity.
Therefore, you are to obtain that information from Varan. Who the gourmet really is and where he can be found. Oh, and when you're done with Varan, kill him. Loose ends and all that. Next, you'll have to... Are you still paying attention?
No. Of course, Festus, please continue.
As I was saying, you'll need to kill the gourmet, of course. But what's more, you'll need to get his writ of passage, so you can take his place. Oh, and if you can, hide his body. The longer it takes for anyone else to determine his real identity, the better. Now off with you. Remember, the Markarth Keep. That's where you'll find Anton Varan. Probably cooking up all of the gourmet's recipes, passing them off as his own.
Indeed. All right. As we're passing through, I think we are going to pay a little visit here to Nazir. Let's see if he's got any contracts for us.
What I'm throwing your way?
Oh, come on. We
Will
already
there
did
ever
everything you
come a time
wanted.
when the people of Skyrim no longer need our services?
Are there any more contracts
There are,
available?
indeed. 3 to be exact.
Nice.
There's Deakus, a shipwreck scavenger, Mirandru Joe, a traveling caravaner, and Honoriath, a hunter.
All right. Let's get some intel on these guys. Andrew Joe.
He's an accomplished wizard, and locating him may be challenging as he travels with the caravans.
Honoriath?
The Wood Elf may run a stall in the city, but he retreats to the plains outside Whiterun to hunt. Kill him there, and no one will bear witness.
And Deakus.
He's an Argonian layabout, likes to scavenge shipwrecks. My guess is he'll run if threatened, or swim if given the chance.
Okay, very good. Picked up 3 new contracts. This is
And
good.
try not to get yourself killed.
We can just keep those little side quests in our back pocket, and we can fulfill them as they become convenient. My thought is that since we are going to Whiterun, we might get lucky. We might find Mandrew Joe there. If he is there, we could eliminate Mandrew Joe and Honoriath in one trip, which would be terrific. I don't know about any of the rest of you who have done these assassination missions, however. I have never been able to catch Honoriath out in the plains. I've never seen him leave the city. So we're going to have to take him in the city, I'm pretty sure. Now, it is time to pay our respects. Close the doors. We'll get a little privacy. There she is. We're going to go to the Hooded Mask. I did mention that I was going to kind of use it in a ritualistic way, so this seems like an appropriate occasion for it. I haven't completely worked out when will be appropriate for the use of that, but this seems appropriate nonetheless. And just like that, we are back on the road. Little test swing. Want to get a little bit better at that, and I'm thinking that what I seem to always be swinging too late now that my horse is a bit faster. So a little practice never hurt. We are going to make our way back to the Eagle's Nest first, and then from the Eagle's Nest on to Whiterun. And now, just for you, dear viewers, perhaps a little travel music is in order.
Order of the Jarl. Stop right there.
Farkas! I'm not paying 483. You caught me, I'll pay my bounty, 40 gold.
Smart man.
These are the chickens coming home to roost for running that guard off the road way up in Rorikstad.
After you pay the fine, of course.
Oh, well. So, we adjust a little bit. That's okay. We can do that. We can do that. It just means that we make our trip to Whiterun a little bit sooner. That is all. So here we are. We can get some things done. I think to start with... Let's see. It might make sense for us to go and see Belethor first. My pouches here are just like literally overflowing with stuff. I've had to use pouches on this armor that I didn't want to originally, just because my carry capacity was just so... I was so overloaded.
Dawn Guard, vampire hunters or something in the old fort near Riften. Might consider joining up myself.
Yep, there's another quest coming in. Yeah, we're going to see that happening probably the next couple episodes as we get caught up. Now, one point of interest, you noticed I put the eye patch back on. Interesting thing about the eye patch. When I put on the eye patch, it disables one of my bandolier pouches. And I'm not exactly sure why that is. So it's kind of weird. It's either I'm down a pouch in carry capacity, or I have the eye patch on. I kind of have to make a decision which I want to do. And I may alternate that depending on what it is I'm carrying and how bad I need the capacity. It's just a game mechanic that I can't avoid. And the fact is that I'm a role player. The eye patch is significant. I like it. It's kind of cool looking. So when I can use it, I probably will. At this point, I'm just flat out overburdened. So maybe it's good that we're in Whiterun first. I can get rid of some things, because otherwise I'd be tempted to just stash this stuff in the Eagle's Nest and it would never get sold. So, there you have it. Life gives us Nordic barnacles, and we make water-breathing potions. That is my philosophy. So,
Didn't hear this from me.
what?
We've uncovered a plot to kill the Emperor.
Really?
I work with my mother
Ringleader?
to sell
One of
fruits
the
and
Emperor's
vegetables.
own-
It's fun most days, but hard work.
Come to chat with an old woman, hmm?
Actually,
Do
no.
a good deed for the day.
Came to sell some stuff. Let's go see Belethor. I like Belethor. He is a Breton. He is kinsman.
Got something for just about everybody in here.
Mm-hmm.
Give a holler if you have any questions.
Buy things.
Everything's for sale, my friend. Everything. If I had a sister, I'd sell her in a second. Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
Okay. Let's offload some crap. Heaviest stuff first. So weapons and armor, things of that nature, I'll get rid of first. And then if he's still got some capacity when we're done with that, I will offload some gems, something like that. We'll see. That staff I'm going to keep. I think that might be a nice gift for Lydia. She is a user of staves. Okay, we don't need that crap. Ah, he doesn't have enough money left. Son of a... Alright. We'll take the rest of his gold by selling off crap gems. Amethyst is always first to go, followed by garnets. Junk like that. I got 5 garnets. The flawless amethyst. Flawless stuff I like to keep. I can make jewelry out of it. It's not so bad. He doesn't really have anything I want.
Do come back.
Get more money. Obviously, this wouldn't be such a problem if I would invest any perk points in speech. But that just has not been a priority.
Supplies? See Belethor at his store. Sleazy little man, but he has good stock.
My philosophy with this character playthrough has been I will invest in things like speech when I'm not getting killed. that kind of thing, right? You know, when I'm able to defend myself, that is when I'll invest in stuff that's kind of ancillary. So I've been really focused on combat and magic and that stuff. All right. Can we make stuff? Yes, we can make stuff. Let's make stuff. Let us make leather. Let us partake in the creation of some bracers. Acquire some levels. Levels are always good, dear friends. You know this, you Skyrim veterans. Now, of course, we have also done the side quest for Ancient Knowledge, which means that we are getting some slight bonuses when we do this, which is great. Love bonuses. That just means we're acquiring experience slightly faster when we do smithing now than we would have otherwise. So I'm going to do a little crafting here, and then I am going to go in and sell this stuff, and we are going to leave Whiterun and move on to the next stage in our adventure. And that brings us to the end of another episode, dear viewers. I want to thank you for taking the journey with me. And until next time, may all that you do be swift, quiet, and deadly. And to all Skyrim assassins, I salute you. Silence is our battle cry.